Hey guys, want to bring you another YouTube video on why we moved from Portland area to Las Vegas. And there was actually a couple of reasons, but mainly it started when we just had our second child. My son was born and had 4 months off to reflect. It was with the company I'm working with, and so it gave me paternity leave during that time. And so it was about 1 month before going back where we were trying to figure out if this is the long term plan to raise our kids in the Pacific Northwest. And so as we reflected our journey for the past almost 3 years being there, we were like, you know what, we don't think it's going to work out long term. One reason was the weather. We realized that the weather wasn't going to work out for us long term. Traffic was getting worse. Another thing was that family and friends were pretty far away, and so we weren't seeing them as much as often. And then another thing was that cost of living was a lot higher than before we moved there. Originally, we thought we were going to have a house by then when we had our second child, but that didn't turn out. And full details is actually in our blog. But and especially with the journey, pretty much a couple houses and offers that we went didn't work out, and then we had issues with having my in-laws being almost an hour and a half. We got tired of commuting because of the traffic and weather. Cost of living, like I said, was getting close to Bay Area prices, so it didn't make sense in that sense. And the weather does affect you a lot more than we expected. And there was the second year when we lived there, it was the longest rain season, and the business wasn't working out there. And where, like I said, because I had 4 months off with the company I was working with, it gave me an opportunity to be able to transfer, and especially the same position I have right now in the Pacific Northwest was not going to be enough to be able to live out there long term because of the cost of living. And so there was really, again, four places we were kind of considering: Las Vegas, Fresno, California. Even though if you see one of our blogs, we just left from California prior to that. And so, again, it didn't make sense for us long term being there. And so, sorry, Las Vegas, Fresno, California, and then we were looking at Texas or Florida. But in the end, we chose Las Vegas because we were had more opportunities. I had some interviews in Fresno, California, but didn't get the offer, but was getting a lot of offers and interest in the Las Vegas area. So I was ultimately able to transfer and get the green light to move there. It took about a week and a half to pack up everything, but it took us 4 days because we had a lot of stops with the kids. Kids want to be able to do their they were kind of tired of traveling. Couldn't do like when my wife and I drove cross country from Tennessee to California, where it was just the two of us and the dogs. With moving cross 2 states with the kids was a little bit harder. So again, I have the full details and description in the blog on the full details on what happened during that 3 years, why ultimately it didn't work out, and why it was the best decision ever to be living in Las Vegas, and why it worked out. Again, we were able to have that American dream to be able to find the house that we wanted, and there was more inventory. That's another thing that was unusual compared to like California and the Pacific Northwest. There was not as much inventory, but Vegas and Henderson had more inventory. Henderson didn't have as much inventory unless you had bigger price range that what we want. Again, we want like the good school for our kids, so that way we wouldn't have to move as often, and a great sense of community and being able to do a lot of different things, and being close to California to visit my family and friends. And then it worked out since my in-laws actually ended up moving from Oregon to Harris, and now they only live like 5 minutes away from us. Again, go ahead and like, share, comment, and subscribe. Take a look at the blog, and hopefully this was informative. But overall, everything worked out. All right, thanks.